It started as a day like any other. I'd been itching to get out of the city for a while, clear my head, and get away from everything that felt like it was caving in on me. Work was driving me mad, relationships were falling apart, and even sleep didn't give me any peace. So, I took off, without a plan, without telling anyone. Just me, a backpack, and enough stubbornness to think I could walk into the woods alone and leave everything else behind. I didn't even bring a map. Just a vague idea of where I was headed and a feeling that I'd find my way. I'd read about this trail, deep in the mountains, isolated and unmarked. Locals called it the Hollow Grove. It wasn't on any official trail lists, and the guy at the gas station warned me that people get lost up there all the time. He said the forest was older and didn't take kindly to visitors. But I brushed him off. Thought he was just trying to scare a city guy. But as soon as I set foot on the trail, I knew something was different. It wasn't like any forest I'd been in before. There was no sound, no birds, no insects, just this thick, oppressive silence that clung to the air. The trees were massive, their roots tangled and twisted together like they'd been growing there for centuries, untouched and untamed. I kept walking, though, deeper and deeper, as if something was pulling me in. My sense of direction started to waver, but I told myself it was fine, that I'd find my way back. I wasn't worried. Not yet. It was about an hour in when I saw it. At first, it looked like just another tree, its branches gnarled and reaching toward the sky like skeletal fingers. But as I got closer, I realized it wasn't just a tree. It was shaped like a person. No, not a person exactly, more like a figure, woven together from branches and roots. Where a face should have been, there was this hollow, twisted skull, dark and empty, like a scream frozen in time. I stood there, staring, frozen by some feeling I couldn't name. Fear? Awe? Maybe both. I told myself it was just some weird art piece, maybe something left by other hikers. But deep down, I knew that was a lie. No one had been here in a long, long time. And that thing, it looked like it had grown out of the ground itself, like the forest had twisted and shaped itself into something alive. I should have walked away right then. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to turn around, to run. But instead, I stepped closer. The air grew thick, and the smell. God, I'll never forget that smell. It was earthy, rotting, like damp soil mixed with something metallic and foul, like rusted iron. The closer I got, the stronger that smell became, until I could taste it on my tongue, sharp and bitter. And then, I touched it. The moment my hand brushed the twisted roots, I felt a shock, like a jolt of electricity that shot up my arm and straight into my chest. My vision went black, and for a split second, I was somewhere else. It's hard to explain. I was still in the forest, but it wasn't the same. The trees were darker, taller, looming over me like they were alive, watching, waiting. And there was a sound, a whisper, soft and barely audible, but growing louder, like a chant, a language I didn't understand. When I blinked, I was back in the grove, but something was wrong. The air felt heavier, and there was this presence, like something ancient and hungry was lurking just beyond my vision, hiding in the shadows of the trees. I stumbled back, heart pounding, and that's when I noticed the figure was gone. The tree, the twisted roots, the hollow skull, all of it vanished. Like it had never been there at all. I was shaking, sweating, trying to convince myself that I was imagining things. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me, following me. I spun around, scanning the trees, but there was nothing. Just that unnatural silence, pressing in on me from all sides. I tried to retrace my steps, to find my way back to the trailhead, but every path I took seemed to lead me in circles. The trees looked the same in every direction, their branches tangled and knotted like they were trying to trap me. Panic started to set in, and I felt the whispers return, louder this time, echoing in my mind. They were calling my name. How? How could they know my name? Hours passed, or maybe it was minutes, I couldn't tell. My phone was dead, the light fading as the sun dipped below the horizon. I was completely and utterly lost. And then, I saw it again. The figure. Standing in the distance, barely visible through the shadows, its hollow eyes fixed on me. I ran. I didn't care where, I just ran, tearing through the underbrush, branches scraping my arms and face. But no matter how fast I ran, no matter how far, it was always there, always watching. Sometimes, I'd catch glimpses of it out of the corner of my eye, its twisted form moving with an unnatural grace, like it was gliding through the trees. Eventually, I collapsed, gasping for breath, my legs numb and shaking. The forest was dark now, the only light coming from the faint glow of the moon filtering through the branches. I sat there, alone in the darkness, listening to the whispers, waiting for whatever nightmare I was trapped in to end. And then, I felt it. Cold, bony fingers wrapping around my wrist, pulling me down into the earth. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The ground opened up beneath me, roots and branches coiling around me, dragging me deeper and deeper into the soil. I could feel them, crawling under my skin, wrapping around my bones, twisting and pulling like they were trying to make me a part of the forest. I don't remember how I got out. One moment, I was sinking, and the next, I was lying on the forest floor, staring up at the stars. I was covered in dirt, my skin raw and bleeding, but somehow, I was alive. I stumbled to my feet, barely able to walk, and found my way back to the trail. When I finally made it back to my car, I didn't look back. I didn't stop driving until I was miles away. But the story doesn't end there. You see, the forest, it didn't let me go. I thought I'd escaped, but every night since then, I see it. In my dreams, in reflections, in shadows that shouldn't be there. That twisted, hollow figure, watching me, waiting. And the whispers, they never stopped. They're always there, calling my name, beckoning me back. And here's the part one haven't told anyone. Sometimes, I wake up with dirt under my nails, with roots coiled around my wrists and ankles, tightening, sinking into my skin. I can feel them, growing inside me, taking root. I know one day, I'll go back. I don't have a choice. The forest wants me, and it's only a matter of time before it pulls me back. Because that's the thing about the Hollow Grove. Once you find it, you belong to it.